you have spent decades around the NHL, and what can you say? How important is the draft positions for young players?
There's a lot of important dates on the NHL calendar, Lotar. So I'll give you some of them. The start of the season, the awarding of the Stanley Cup, the trade deadline, and the NHL draft. And it's not in that order. It's probably the Stanley Cup first, and then the NHL draft, and then the start to the year. The NHL draft is a really important date on the NHL calendar. It's 48 hours of unbelievable intensity, but guys work the entire year. Scouts work the entire year to go find players like Albert Schmitz. And I think the biggest thing when you look at the draft, I've been through a lot of them. I've been going to the draft since 1989. The biggest thing about the draft is it's not always about the best player. It's about guys that you think will have the best careers. Sometimes I've seen players taken in the fifth, sixth, seventh round, and people say, why did you take that guy? Because we knew long term it wasn't going to be in 1 year or two. It was going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road. He was going to be a good player, and that's an important part of the draft.
For example, for Albert Schmitz, I don't know how the NHL teams are looking for that kind of small countries like Latvia.
Well, let's look at Anze Kopitar. He's from Slovenia. I remember watching him his draft year. He was playing in the World Championships in 2005 in Innsbruck in Vienna, and he engineered an upset over Canada. Like Canada had all their players because it was the year of the lockout. It doesn't matter where you come from. It matters how you play, how you practice, how do you prepare. I watched Albert Schmitz play a lot this year. I'm really impressed. And the biggest thing is, as a young kid, he played in Finland. He played in Germany. He played in the Olympics. He played in the World Junior. He played in the World Championship. That's a lot of hockey in a lot of different places. To be able to do that, you got to be mentally tough and you got to be coachable and you have to be mature beyond your years when it's your draft year in particular. I was very impressed by that. Very impressed.
When NHL teams are evaluating those players, for example, like Schmitz, what are they looking for beyond size? I don't know, skating and statistics.
Great question. I usually go by the three C's: character, courage, coachability. If you have character, you're going to be okay. If you have courage, you're going to be really okay. And if you're coachable, you'll continue to get better. So if you have those three things, and that's something you can watch and learn from about a player, it really helps you a lot. So I think a lot of scouts look for fast skaters. Some scouts look for guys that shoot the puck hard. Some guys look for players that are really physical. But if you can bring it all into the party, it's really important, Lothar. It's really important.
How important are those pre-draft works like I don't know, the character, the interviews, how big part that plays for this draft?
What an awesome question. Very good question. I think there's some drafts where certain players might get a bad reputation, and then you talk to them, and you're like, that's not true. That kid's a great kid. Probably the best interview I ever had was a player by the name of Tyler Wright. It was 1991. We had won the Stanley Cup. I was coaching in Pittsburgh and working in Pittsburgh. And we brought Tyler Wright in. And eventually, I think he went 11th overall to Edmonton in the 91 draft. And one of the things I said after we did our interviews with him, I said, this guy's going to be a captain somewhere in the NHL. Doesn't mean he's the best player. Doesn't mean he's going to put up 500 goals. Doesn't mean any. He's going to be a captain. And eventually he became a leader for a bunch of different teams, one of them being Edmonton. And Detroit was another one. Tyler Wright was a real good player. Anyways, long story short, we got a really good player in that draft by the name of Marcus Naslund. I left to go to Hartford. Scotty Bowman left to go to Detroit. Barry Smith went to go to Detroit. Marcus Naslund got traded to Vancouver. So a guy that was a great player, drafted 16th overall, ends up going to Vancouver where he has an unbelievable career. And he should have stayed in Pittsburgh, but nobody was there to speak on his behalf. So the draft's a funny thing. But my point on it is Tyler Wright, who ended up being nowhere near as good a player as Marcus Naslund, was a better interview than Marcus was, but he was not as good a player as Marcus was. So you got to kind of be very careful when you do that stuff.
About Latvian hockey players, what can you say? who do you know? Which players maybe? And yeah, about the Latvian character, maybe some few words.
I can't say enough about their character. Artur Zerbe is somebody I had so much respect for. You just look at it and you think about how great he was. Carl Iskrastis is another guy I knew very well. Unbelievable character, human, tough as nails, fearless guy. So sad what happened to him and all the guys on that plane. I knew the late Pavel Dimitra really well. I coached him and I coached against him and always thought so highly of him. I know he was a Slovak, but still I know he spent time around Latvia. So I can't say enough good things about people like that. What I can tell you is the Latvians are so respected around the hockey world because number one, they have passion. Number two, at the World Junior in particular, in the World Championships, they're a lot of fun to be around. And I think the most important thing, and this is really critical, the people there appreciate how much and how important it is to work hard. And that's part of the character thing we talk about, Lotars. So I've never heard of a Latvian player being a problem around any team, ever. Donj Lasmelis, who I watched play college hockey, my son played head-to-head against him. And it was great to watch two kids that were really tough and hard-nosed play against each other. Donj is going to be a tremendous NHL player. He is going to be a really good NHL player. That's the kind of guy you want to talk about. And I remember watching him play when he was playing up in northern Sweden a long time ago in the U20 situation. So I know a lot of Latvian players, and I'm really fond of them because of the character and the heart. They have huge heart.